In this video, we're going to show you how to use GPSSample as the admin of a study. Imagine you are planning to rapidly sample to gather data on disease prevalence or vaccination coverage. As the admin, you will first set up a new configuration in the app. Then you'll create the study, which involves choosing the sampling method and setting up the sampling rules. To set up a configuration, first tap the plus sign. Name your configuration. Select your preferred units of measurement, date format, and time format. Next, enter your desired GPS precision. Once you set this number, you won't be able to change it. So let's take a look at what this number means. When a team member is using GPSSample in the field, their phone or tablet will search for their location, take their GPS point, and save the reading. The GPS precision number determines the maximum range for taking the reading. If you enter 30 meters, it means two things. First, the accuracy of your tablet or phone must be at or below 30 meters to record your position. Second, when you return to the household to launch the longer survey, if you are farther away, for example 35 meters from the household, it won't be possible to launch the survey. There is a large network of satellites, so it is usually possible to get good accuracy. Things that decrease the accuracy of a reading include standing under trees, clouds, or a roof. 30 meters is a good number to use. The encryption password will help keep all the gathered data safe. Let's create a memorable password because every person using GPSSample in your study will need to use it. Keep in mind that the password is case-sensitive. This feature is off by default. When it is turned on, it allows an enumerator to tap a new location on the map and add a household. It may be useful if the teams will be in a very remote or highly dense urban setting, and you don't think the accuracy of the GPS will be good enough. In most cases, though, this feature stays off. Choose whether you would like to enable these other features as well. The proximity warning alerts you when you are too close to another household. Let's set this at 5 meters. Next, you'll create the study. Tap the plus sign to begin. Name your study. Decide whether to use a simple random sample or a cluster sample. We will be using a cluster sample method. For our example study, we'll say we want to have 10 households per cluster. For your own study, you'll determine this number in advance with your study sample size calculations. Next, you'll use fields to enter the questions that will be asked about each household. Tap the plus sign to begin. The questions you enter here can help screen a household for eligibility and help you find the household again later. So think carefully about which questions to use. We can start with a question to determine if the household is eligible for sampling. We'll ask, is this a household that currently has people living in it? We can set this up with several possible answers in a drop-down to choose from. And we'll make it a required question. You can make any question required. We'll use the second question to gather information that will be helpful later when we're trying to find this household again. We'll ask for the head of the household's name, which is personally identifiable information. We'll add a household description here that will help us find the house again later, especially if there isn't an address on the house. Don't forget to tap Save after entering each question. Now you will add study sampling rules. For example, you will likely want to ensure that only eligible households are part of the sample. So, one rule you could create is this one. This rule is saying that if the answer to question 1 is yes, then the household is eligible to be sampled. For your study, you can add more than one rule, such as the household has a child under 5 years old. Finally, you want to apply any rules to the dataset that will be collected. To do this, you create a filter. To create a filter, name it. Then tap Add Condition. Select the rule you just created and save it. You'll see the eligibility rule appear. Save your entry, and you're done. If you had 2 rules, a filter allows you to combine the rules together. The final step you may take at this point is to add information about the enumeration area or cluster boundaries. GPSSample has 3 methods for creating boundaries for clusters. Walk the perimeter of a cluster. Use the map to draw known boundaries for a cluster, or use known boundaries for clusters. For our example study, enumerators will walk the perimeter to generate the shape of each cluster, so there are no additional actions needed in the map at this moment. For now, you are done setting up the configuration. Next, you'll be transferring your new configuration to supervisors. After you tap Export Configuration, there are 2 ways to do the transfer. You can use a QR code to transfer the data, or use a file system transfer. You can then email this file to your supervisors. We just set up our first configuration and study in GPSSample.